How sad are you?
What?
There's nothing on the floor apart from this trail.
Leading all the way to the freezer.
So you can get your beers and walk back to your chair without
wrong
getting your
with
feet
that?
muddy. You're really sad.
Happy days. Hello and welcome, and you join us 30 miles into our trip. We're just leaving our overnight stop and we're on our way to Brittany, or Quimper, which is in Brittany of course, where we'll be spending probably 8 nights. No, it is 8 nights. Hello. Well, we're still 225 miles out, and I suppose we expect some roadworks on the several hundreds of miles or 1,000 miles we're doing. Most French roads out of cities tend to be dual carriageways, and if you have an accident and roadworks, then you get this. And luckily, we're not that far away according to Waze, which we use as well. That's a 0.2 of a mile, I think it said.
Well, till the accident, and then you were straight into roadworks, so that doesn't make it any easier.
Says accident on the back of that van. Accident. Plan.
Don't try and speak French, Steve. Ralentier.
Ralentier.
Yeah. Accident ralentier might be beware, be aware. Oh dear.
And en route you'll also see some COVID signs now appearing, so we do need Fiona's help here to tell us what that says.
He puts a lot of trust in A-level French. I think literally it says, COVID this summer, guard your good reflexes, which I guess mean please practice good behaviour.
Now, as Fiona has alluded to, these airs come in pairs, well, most of the time anyway, in so much that the first one will be just somewhere to stop and maybe somewhere to have a toilet break as well, and then you'll get full blown service stations like this one that have fuel and food. Now, I never actually let my tank go below a quarter anyway, because of the distance that there may well be in between them. And also depending on the conditions as well. I mean, you might be going all uphill, in which case you won't be doing the miles per gallon that you think you're doing, especially when you're pulling something heavy behind you.
The kids always prepare themselves and do a lot of sleeping on long journeys, but now it was time to wake them up, ready for a spot of lunch.
So, fed and watered and fueled up, we hit the road again, and it's not that far into our trip that we hit the next set and last set of tolls. And not long after that, we actually find ourselves getting off the motorway and heading towards our destination, which is Fusnant.
I think you actually mean Fuen, Steve, just because it says Fusnant on the sign. I don't think the French pronounce it like that.
Yeah, alright, I know. Now, there is something interesting when we drive through this little village, and you'll see this all over this area of France now, is the actual traffic calming that is used. They have these enormous ramps, some of which are really quite lumpy, some of which have got loads of scores on the bottom of them. You can see, jockey wheels and things like that have had a mishap, so be careful. And as you can see, it's a whole curb height, and it goes on for a long way as well. This one has got a sign. The reason for the sign is that there is in the middle of this a zebra crossing as well, but no warning for the ramp itself. And so to the next observation. So now as we turn the corner here, something else to bear in mind is the hedge height. The hedges, not all of it's been pruned back properly, and you may well have to take position in the middle of the road. As you'll see, I'll have to do that on this next section. And so just when you think you made it, you go whizzing around the corner, well, as fast as you can do whizzing, and then you end up with a single track road with no lines on the road itself. Brilliant.
Yes. Is that it?
Camping de la Piscine.
Piscine,
Yes,
that's it.
right.
There's a car behind us.
I'm not worried about what's behind us. Parking. I don't want to be going in that.
No, don't know, I guess. Pull over to one side.
So checked in as normal. Fiona just had to be the only person because of the COVID rules that were still in place. We did actually go down past, as you saw, the swimming pools and the restaurants also there as well, and down to our pitch. So I'm just unhooking, and then we'll be motor moving the caravan back into the hole, because we're actually quite a small cubbyhole, as you'll see. So it dawned on me, just how many men and women does it take to get a GoPro to stop recording? There we go. They couldn't have picked a tighter spot, actually. So we had to move it in with over.
Once we were settled on the site, Steve and I headed off to the local supermarket to stock up on provisions, and unbelievably, for the first time ever, when we were away, we came back to an awning having been put up. Georgia and David excelled themselves.
That one's the big one.
Oh, hang on. Oh, wow, that's big. That is big. What's
This
that
one's
do?
that it's just a tube, I think. I'm guessing it's quite fast.
Right.
That one's a slow one, but it's also a spinny one, so that it's basically for children. But then that one's a quick one behind it. You can't see it, but it's quick. It just sends you down fast.
Right, okay. So tomorrow at 10, a date.
How sad are you?
What?
There's nothing on the floor apart from this trail.
Leading all the way to the freezer.
So you can get your beers and walk back to your chair without getting your feet muddy. You're really sad.
Happy days.
And on our first night, as we usually do, we headed to the restaurant. No bar, no goodness knows what it was called. Really good cocktails, and frankly, not much else. Unbelievably, every night they offered just one single dish, and often it sold out by 7 o'clock, which was a little bit rubbish, so we didn't go here very often. One bright spot, though, is that the orange wristbands we were forced to wear did match my nail art and my watch. Whoopee!
Yeah, we did. Well, that's it for this one. We hope you found it useful, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell.